China's annual two sessions, the biggest event on the country's political calendar, are currently underway. And new quality productive forces, a term introduced by President Xi Jinping in September 2023, is again in the spotlight. What exactly are new quality productive forces? I went to Yiwu, a small town in Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, to uncover the answers. And in the second half of the show, as technology rapidly advances and the international landscape remains fraught with uncertainties, how will China chart its course towards modernization? Welcome to this special program of Advancing Modernization on the Point, an opinion show coming to you from Beijing. I'm Li Xin. A mini sun in the middle of the Gobi Desert in eastern Xinjiang. You may be wondering what this huge blinding tower is that's surrounded by tens of thousands of gigantic mirrors that turn with the sun. What is it? Why is it here? And who are the people behind it? This project is 1 hour drive from Yiwu County of Hami City, the eastern gate of Xinjiang. Hami is known as the land of honey melons, with almost 300 varieties. But there's so much more to it, with its diverse ethnic culture. But I'm here to see a totally different face of the city.
这里是中国能建哈密塔式50兆瓦光热发电项目。
光热发电属于新能源发电的一种，它是区别于光伏和风能的，它是另外一种全新的。它具体的工作原理就是通过这么多镜子，把太阳光给聚集到一个点上，通过那个点，它就会把这个熔岩加热，从300度加热到500甚至到800摄氏度。它这个热量呢，通过水流热交换，把高温高压的蒸汽传送到下面的蒸汽轮机来带动这个蒸汽轮机发电。
This project can generate 198 million kilowatt hours of clean power every year, enough to meet the needs of 250,000 people for a whole year. I asked Ren what brought him here in such a remote place. After getting a master's degree in environmental management in Germany, he had plenty of options to start his career.
My father gave me this ad for me, and we discuss it just like in family. We make the decision that come here. So actually, I just want to try for 3 months. But the first month, I make the decision to stay because it's really something out of my imagination.
What is your ambition?
A Superman. Perhaps I want to be a really successful scientific researcher or really famous entrepreneur, perhaps in future. Yeah.
And you think starting here would help you?
Yeah, of course.
Yiwu is dancing to the tune of renewable energy. With huge tar-rich coal reserves, it already boasts an advanced coal chemical industry, which has made it one of the richest counties in China, with per capita GDP reaching $70,000. Why is it chasing the sun now? The Yiwu Integrated Computing Center was established in April 2024 as part of the county's strategy to pursue high-tech green industries. This is where 24-year-old Zuo Yuxi is based. She's in charge of the center's public outreach. But what exactly is computing power?
算力就是计算能力，它就是包括我们从古代的结绳记事到算盘、手机，然后电脑，这些其实都是算力。
Computing is energy hungry. This is where the solar thermal plant comes into play.
义乌最大的优势就是电力优势，在我们这边的话，最低是可以做到2毛1度的电价，对，而且都是绿电。
Beijing's industrial electricity in urban areas typically cost between 0.7 and 1.1 yuan per kilowatt hour. The timing couldn't be better. In 2022, China rolled out a project called East Data, West Computing. Data from the East would be sent westward to be processed, computed, and stored. For Zuo Yuxi, an ethnic Mongol from Hami, this job opportunity couldn't be better.
我一开始也是很不想留在新疆，就很想出去闯一闯。但就是在外面待了几年之后，首先在大城市是比较孤独，感觉心里会比较压抑，然后离家太远了，因为
对，那当时It's getting emotional now. 那回到这儿来，对你意味着什么？
我回来就是能更好的陪伴家人，然后这里也有更多的朋友，还有就是可以为家乡的发展做一点小小的贡献。
Now she is in charge of the center's social media exposure. Her passion and creativity have broadened the appeal of the institute and the town among young people. I somewhat envy Zuo Yuxi. She is able to pursue her passion in her hometown. As someone who left home as a teenager to see the big wide world, I can relate to her. Exactly how is computing making a difference on the ground? I'm curious to find out. 29-year-old Hamdul Abdul is also a native of Hami. He was born into a farming family, but spent a decade studying and working outside Xinjiang. He returned to Hami in early 2024 to join the institute, where he is now working on a pumpkin tracing project powered by computing technology.
这个传感器呢，通过这几个探头可以检测这个南瓜的土壤里面的营养成分、土壤的水分，还有它的 pH 值等等，都可以检测出来。
那我们的算力中心和这个监测的单元之间的关系是怎样的？
这个是24小时，都可以这个检测土壤里面的数据，然后它可以每隔1个小时都会把数据传输到这个数据中心，然后数据中心那边会自动处理这个收到的数据，然后做成这种图表，然后在微信小程序上面可以把它展示出来。
That means each and every pumpkin can be traced. And using blockchain technology, the data is secure. Yiwu plans to attract 30 to 50 innovative enterprises over the next 2 to 3 years, aiming to recruit 6,000 young talents like Abdul. After a long day's work, the 3 colleagues gather in one of their favorite spots to enjoy grilled food.
上午那南瓜好像忘烤了，
是的，
去拿过来。
可以，烤一烤，尝一尝。今天上午南瓜田采收了，那个南瓜还挺多的，
是吗？
烤2串南瓜。
这个南瓜看着好鲜啊！
How can I not join and taste the computing-powered pumpkin?
哇，好香
我听的是，
啊！
谢谢。
有一股那种南瓜饼的香味儿。
哎，
比我刚才吃的好吃太多，好好吃啊！
这真好吃。
吃起来别具风味，是不是？
是的。
因为这是你们的劳动成果。
是的。
As I listened to Zuo Yuxi's soft voice and savored the peace and quiet, I almost forgot I was in a place that's still stirring so much controversy abroad. Xinjiang is quickly transforming itself to become a land of the future where more and more young people like Ren, Abdul, and Zuo can call home. We just watched an episode that demonstrated the computing power at the Yiwu Integrated Computing Center in Hami City, known as the East Gate of Xinjiang. The story is just a snapshot of China's development of new quality productive forces. Since the term was introduced in the government work report for the first time last year, what has China done and achieved? What are the priorities in developing such forces this year? To better understand the role of new quality productive forces, I'm pleased to be joined from Guangzhou in southern China by Fabienne Pacoury, Executive Vice President of the French Chamber of Commerce and Industry in China, and from Beijing by Liu Chengfang, Boya Chair Professor at Peking University. Welcome to The Point. So first of all, let's start by talking about the Yiwu Integrated Computing Center in Hami as an example of China's new quality productive forces. Fabienne, let me go to you first. What's your understanding of the term and how does it differ from the traditional concept of productive forces?
Concerning that East-West compute transfer project, it is quite fascinating because we can feel it's a new strategic initiative to optimize the distribution of computing services across the country, but also to address regional disparities and to balance and support development into the West, and with also a better new quality management in variously with different support development. And it's quite exciting to see how those new regional economic development.
Professor Liu, from your understanding, what are the key components required to develop new quality productive forces, and what's the idea behind coining a new term to describe this kind of productive forces? Are they something completely new, or they just put a special emphasis so that people pay more attention to it?
Thank you very much, Ms. Liu, for having me. Actually, I should say I really enjoy watching the video a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank
really
you.
Impressive. So I think those people, especially the young, talented, and highly motivated, I think that's one of the key components of new quality productive forces. And in addition to that, from the example that you showed in the video, in addition to more educated workers or labor force with better human capital, I think other key components of new quality productive forces would include other production factors like the land with better quality and better education and better technology. So as well as the methods that they used to produce high quality products. When I say products, I mean not only goods, but also services. So I think these are the core components or factors of this new quality productive force. And a key indicator would be the increase in the total factor productivity.
But let me ask you this, when we say new quality productive forces, do we mean that this is higher quality productive forces, or do we need these new categories of productive forces, that these productive forces were not in existence before? Professor Liu, I'm staying with you because this is a rather tricky question.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good question, very important. I think compared to the traditional productive forces, there are some important elements. When we say new quality productive forces, we are not completely neglecting the older ones. Thanks to the new productive forces, thanks to the new technology, especially the blockchain and the cloud computing, those kind of things, and with the precision or smart agriculture, they can help improve not only the quality, but also the food safety. So I think the traditional productive force probably they depend on increase the inputs on the extensive margin, but with the new quality productive forces, there's a improvement, not only in terms of the labor force as we saw in the video, but also the technology and the ways they organize the production.
Fabian, what is your understanding of the two words new and quality? Because it can mean completely new forces that emerged, right, with technological advancement, or higher quality productive forces that are already there. What's your understanding?
Oh, it refers to the advanced economy now, to the highest quality of efficient productive forces. It's driven by technological innovation. You know, it's about digital transformation. It's also about the future industries and linked to also this sustainable development. So yes, it's about science and technology, and it's about the highest quality of development that China is achieving now those days in life sciences and biotech and AI. So it's pretty impressive. Yeah?
Is this a term that you can find to help Western audiences in France, in Europe, for instance, help them understand? Is there a comparison you can make, the nearest possible term you can find for the moment, so that they understand what we're talking about when we talk about new quality productive forces?
I think they understand when we talk about high-end manufacturing and advanced industries and the future industries, yes, because they know it's about the latest technologies into innovation. When we talk about strategic innovation clusters, for example, they understand, yes, that it's very new, and that China is completing new phase into its modernization.
Professor Liu, what are some of the challenges in developing new quality productive forces? When I was in Xinjiang, I could tell it's not an easy endeavor, you know, to start something new. They had to build this huge thermal salt power plant, for instance, a lot of technology in there, a lot of investment, and then they have to set up an extremely advanced computing center, and they have to hire talents and keep them there. Right, they have to attract young talents from all over Xinjiang and all over China to work in that small town. I say it's a small town because it didn't, in Yiwu, for instance, it didn't really have traffic lights, let's put it this way. So what are the challenges in developing this kind of new quality productive forces?
Okay, yeah. So from my understanding, the new the new quality productive forces, the development, I think that's for the high quality development. So we not only need innovation in terms of science and technology. In the meantime, we also need innovations in the areas like institutions and mechanisms, policies, and investment, as you just mentioned. So, and another challenge could be, so China is huge, right? Different provinces, even within Xinjiang, they have different natural endowment. So when we develop this new quality productive forces, we should take local condition into consideration to make it really helps to facilitate the high quality development in an inclusive and also sustainable way. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, you mentioned a very important point, which is the local endowment. You know, China is so vast, so diverse. In every different region, the situation, the circumstances are different. How does China ensure that there is an overall policy that's being implemented, but it's implemented in a way that's specific to the local circumstance? How does the system work for such a vast country?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think that there should be a combination of the government and also the market systems, all right? So the government will make sort of the overarching, the plan, the strategic plan, but when it comes to the local places, either the provinces or prefectures, they have their own natural endowment and the condition. So that said, I don't think there is a one size fits all thing. So, but I think that in general, the principles are the same. So innovations, science and technology, as well as the other dimensions I mentioned. But in the meantime, the local government and different places, they can be creative and make these innovations more cater to the local condition in pursuit of this new quality productive forces development.
Absolutely. There's not a textbook definition of what this is and how to grow, how to promote this, the development of such forces. But Fabienne, from your conversation with French entrepreneurs operating in southern China or all over China, how do they view this term? What are they smelling from the trend, and do they smell opportunities for them? Are they actually investing in such forces?
Yes, we know now that I was talking a few minutes ago about those innovative strategic clusters. Now many foreign entrepreneurs knows that about those very innovative places in China, in different municipalities or different cities and different provinces. And because now China is giving birth to groundbreaking technologies and innovation, cutting edge technologies. And we can see that there is a kind of new, China is not the follower anymore. I was reading this morning in the newspaper that we can say that China is also now a kind of new originator now, is creating things now. And China is on the right track of future industries, because we can feel that if there is a right environment, now China is able to create without any foreign supply chain or value chain. China can originally create interesting cutting-edge technologies in different fields, in pharma tech, in biotech, in food tech, in agri-tech, and different segments, in different fields, in different industries. And this is very new and very fascinating. So for sure, it's very exciting for many entrepreneurs to come here to discover also new way to work in China, because it's also about new management practices. It's also about new way to approach development here and business development. I mean, so, and also with I agree with Professor Liu, a new, interesting, modernized institution, very creative institution, working in a new way, trying to find incentive, trying to find solution to help companies here, and to work with different laboratories together and academics, trying to find solution to tackle externalities. So yes, it's very exciting.
Professor Liu, looking forward, looking at this year's Lianghui, or 2 sessions of China's national legislator and political consultatives, what do you foresee to come out concerning new quality productive forces? Are we going to see greater intensity, greater incentives to allocate resources into promoting these forces?
Yeah, you're right. And I'm sure that after these 2 sessions, more efforts or more coordinations between different sectors and different levels will be made to strengthen or to put forward the development of new productive, the high quality forces, and especially in terms of the reform, especially the systematic reform to improve the institutions, policies, investments, and science and technology to make sure they all together to create a facilitating or enabling environment for these new quality productive forces. So I think that's positive.
What kind of implication will this have on China's international trade, for instance, and on the international landscape? Because the more you put in, the more creative, the more competitive this sector is going to be. Will there be even keener competition from certain countries, or will it make China more competitive in terms of international collaboration, international trade, and economic cooperation? Professor Liu.
Yeah, I think from what we discussed earlier this afternoon, I think the implications are positive, at least in terms of the following aspects. First, so with the new quality productive forces, right? Just now we mentioned the improvement, the innovations in science and technology, institutions, policies, investments, and another important dimension of these new productive forces I would like to mention is equity, or more greener, or more sustainable. Okay, so I think from this effort, I think China makes a very good example, and especially for other developing countries, how to coordinate between different levels and the different sectors to achieve the goal, the long-term goal. So you mentioned about whether this would strengthen the competitiveness or other things. I think Fabio just mentioned that China has made progress, very impressive progress, especially around the Chinese New Year with the release of DeepSeek or other AI things, the high technology things. So I think that will help build up the competitiveness of China. But I think that's a win-win. It's not a zero-sum game. With the improvement, the progress in China, I think China can share with other country, and so I think that would be mutually beneficial from a global perspective.
Fabienne, what do you say to what Professor Liu just mentioned? What's on the mind of French entrepreneurs when they're investing in China, when they're involved in more high-tech manufacturing services provision? What's the implication for the French economy, for the French consumers, or for the French investment and domestic growth? Things looking pretty sluggish, right, in Europe at this moment.
It's very important because we understand that there's new shift in the global economy with new global dynamics, and we can feel that now China is developing also new economic pattern and a new development pattern, and it's very interesting. Why? Because you can see China is also leveraging regional strength and fostering innovation ecosystems. And so China is becoming not only just one regional hub, but a regional innovation hub, and with different collaboration networks linked with different economic corridors. And of course, this is about connectivity and integration. And of course, France is interested about developing more connectivity, more connection in Asia, and especially with China. It's a partner. And China is developing digital connectivity as well. We can see it every day with a lot of innovation and creative entertainment, but not only. And when China is becoming nowadays an important actor concerning sustainability and green development for renewable energies and clean tech, it's important. We have to try to partner more and more. The French companies know about this. And of course, those new circular economic models and economic development pattern I just mentioned, we have to make sure that we have to follow each other and try to dialogue each other and to partnership more about interesting future cooperation.
Thank you so much, Fabienne Parcoury, Executive Vice President, French Chamber of Commerce and Industry in China, and Liu Zhengfang, Boya Chair Professor at Peking University. With that, we come to the end of this edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin. As always, you can follow me on Facebook and X using the handle Liu Xin in Beijing. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for watching. You've got the point.